Framing audio, framing audio. Hello, my name is Eric and I'm doing another one of my photography vlogs called One Body, One Lens, One Roll, One Day. I am here at the North Inlet Park to Chippewa Lake. I've been here a couple of times. It's nice, nice walking path. I've seen a couple of walkers, a couple of joggers, even a couple of dog walkers. And it's a nice October morning, a little bit of a chill. I probably could have had a jacket, but I didn't bring it. Nice big poofy clouds in the sky. I got some cool shadows. So nice place to be at. Feel free to check it out. Today's camera, fun camera, the Pentax LX. This is their professional level all manual SLR. This was actually made for about 21-ish years, from like 1980, and you could still get them new up until maybe about 2001, at least according to the reports I read. This has a lot of the features that say the Nikon F3 and the Canon F1 would have, but in a much smaller package. Now mine has the finger grip and the motor drive. However, my motor drive is missing the battery chamber and the door. I'm going to try to locate one on eBay, but I left it on there so you could see what it's like. This camera does not need a battery to operate. Well, for the meter it does, but the shutter speeds from beyond 1/60th of a second, it's all mechanically timed out. It does have an auto setting, so you could throw it in an automatic shutter, but that you would need the battery for. Does have an extreme range of shutter speeds from like 4 seconds, and not a lot of all manual cameras went down to 4 seconds, all the way up to a 2,000th of a second. Again, not a lot of them went to 2,000th of a second. Most of them stopped about 1,000. You do have detachable doors, or back doors, so you could put on different doors at the back. You do have removable prisms, so you could change it. And see if I can pop it off here. Change it out just like you could, like I said, a Canon F1 or a Nikon F3. This is an awesome camera. I'm glad I got my hands on one of them. Pairing that with the Pentax SMC-M, so difference between an SMC-M and SMC-A. SMC-M lenses do not have an auto aperture reading on the lens. This is an M, so I have to control the aperture manually, where the SMC-As would have an A indicator. I could snap it in there and the camera can control the aperture. But it's a 50mm 1.4, so very similar speed to the Takumar 1.4 I've had, except for this one's not radiated like that one. All right, today's film, Lomography's Turquise. So very similar to the Lomography Purple I've shot in the past, and I've shot at least one roll of that, maybe two, you might have to go digging, but at least one roll of that, in which it does weird things to the colors. Stuff that is green should go purple, should go turquoise. Just like Lomography Purple, everything would go purple. So I'm going to try to shoot this. This is in-date stuff. It doesn't expire for another 1.5 years, so I'm going to shoot this. It is a multi-rated ISO 100 to 400. Just like the Purple, I shot that at 200. I'm going to shoot this at 200 also, and that gives me a good baseline. All right, let me load it up. Let me see what I can get. Now, when shooting some of these weird films from Film Photography Project, Lomography, make sure you take a look, because this one does not have a DX code on it. Now, my camera doesn't read the DX code anyway, but a lot of these cameras, a lot of these films, if you put them into, let's say, a point and shoot camera, and those cameras don't have a DX code to read, they will default to 100 speed. Well, this film's probably okay because it's multi-rated 100 to 400. But if you put in like some of the slow black and white, which is ISO 25, you're now going to be underexposing by like 3 stops. So make sure when you use some of these weird films or unique films, make sure that if they don't have the DX code, that you can override your DX code in your camera, or if you've got an exposure comp, maybe you can fake it out. All right, so I'm going to load this up. Be right back. Okay, she's all loaded up, and I noticed immediately that the meter was active. So while the Super Program and a couple other Nikon cameras, meters won't go active until you get your counter to 1. My counter is actually at 0, but I know I'm at good film. At least I hope I am. And my meter's already live. So just take that in mind, that this one doesn't necessarily need to have your counter set to number 1. This has got a titanium shutter blades on it, so it's really tough on the shutter blades. Extremely strong strap lugs. I mean, I can't say they're indestructible, but several of the articles I read say these are pretty much indestructible. Does have PC socket, depth of field preview. Again, if I had the battery chamber for the motor drive, I could put it for a single shot or continuous shooting, but I'm just going to be doing it manually. All right, I'm going to walk down that path. I know I've been that way a couple of times. I'm going to walk this way. Let me see what I can get. So the meter in this one's acting a little different than some of the other meters that have just been like a needle going up and down, or a red dot, then another red dot. You got to pair them up. The shutter speed is a green bar sitting at a shutter speed, and as you move the aperture, the red dot kind of rolls up and down, and as long as you get the red dot kind of land on your green bar, you know you've matched to your shutter speed. Now right now I've got my shutter speed at 125th of a second, and inside the canopy of this shaded area I'm actually probably about f8, so nice handhold, no problems there. As long as I get my focus right, I should get some good photos. Let me keep going down the path. Okay, so I'm interested in seeing what the turquoise does with these two trees. This is more of a golden green or maybe golden yellow leaves, but the one over here are all green. So assuming turquoise shifts green to turquoise, I'm thinking that the ones to the right might be a little bit richer, the turquoise, versus the ones here, which might stay or just might show a different weird shift in color. So hopefully we'll see some interesting differences. Let me keep going down the path. Okay, so this lens is a SMC variety. So as I've talked before about coatings on lenses, some of the early 30s, 40s, 50s had no coatings. You start getting to single coatings, multi-coatings. This is a super multi-coating. The super multi-coating was there was coatings on every single piece of glass on both sides. What did that really do? Well, for color stuff, it almost looked like you were shooting through a polarizing filter. I'll be right back. All right, so SMC coatings kind of looked like you were shooting through, or not shooting, but the effect would be you'd get some extra contrast to it, just like you were shooting through a polarized filter, but you weren't getting the polarized effect. You were getting the extra richness in tones. So your sky would go a little bit bluer, your cloud would pop a little bit more, your other colors would kind of get a little extra lift. Or in black and white, even though this is color, you'd get maybe a little extra kick in the contrast. Now, polarizing filter would really enhance that and would get rid of the glare. But as far as the color boost, the SMC lenses would help you with that. All right, I am on shot 28 of a roll of 36. I'm heading back to where my car's parked. I'm going to get a couple more shots along the way. Be right back. When I got a hold of this camera, it was kind of in rough shape. I mean, cosmetically, it was pretty rough. Again, the battery chamber is missing out of the motor winder. Really needed some cleaning and a little bit of refoaming at the hinge point. You can find replacement foam on Amazon for like 25, 30 bucks, and with a little X-Acto knife you kind of cut to fit. And you can kind of replace your own seals on some of these old cameras. Just make sure you scrape off the old deteriorated foam first. So you can do that at the hinge point, maybe the bumper for the mirror, you know, up here. That's a little harder to get to on this camera. Some of them are just real easy if they're deteriorated. Just kind of, again, scrape the remnants off with a little tiny X-Acto knife, blow it out, clean it, put some new foam in there. That's some kind of easy maintenance that you can learn to do, replacement foam. As far as doing anything else technical, I mean, tearing cameras apart, if you're not comfortable tearing stuff apart, don't. I've taken apart a few things, replaced rewind knobs, but as far as tearing apart on the inside, messing with the electronics and gears, no, I have not. All right, I'm going to keep going down the path. Let me see what else I can get. Frame test. Hello. Okay, so that was my last shot, and actually my counter says 34, so I think when I was loading it up, I used a little bit more film than I thought I did, which is fine. Just when you hit that end, I don't care what your counter's at, don't force it. You can rip the film out of the canister, and then you gotta go to a dark room or a camera shop and then get that film out you without exposing any of it. So for this one, because I have the grip on, there's actually a release on the bottom of the grip. There's two buttons actually. One button's to eject the battery, which we're not doing. The other one is to release that gear, and as many shots as you had in your roll of film is what it should be to rewind it. This one's actually really easy, and there it lets go. Pop that open. There's my roll of turquoise. Okay. So again, today we were at North Inlet, Chippewa Lake, down one of the other paths I hadn't gone down to before. Today's camera was the Pentax LX with an SMC-M 1.4. This is a K-mount, unlike my Takamar, which I had to use an adapter. This is straight up a K-mount. Today's film was some fresh in-stock Lomography's Turquise, which if you take a look at Lomo's website, you'll get a weird shift. The green should go turquoise. Some of the others might shift a little bit too. Most of what I was shooting was green. I found a little bit of reds, a little bit of gold, so we'll see what that does. Same thing with the path. We'll see what that does. First time shooting turquoise, so interesting to see the results. Photos will be posted at the end. Even if I made a mistake, they'll be posted at the end. Feel free to give them a thumbs up. feel free to comment or comment on your experience with lomography or lomography purple or lomography turquoise. Maybe you've got your own Pentax camera, maybe your own LX. Feel free to comment what camera you have. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. If it's one I've got, I'll be more than happy to shoot it. If it's not, maybe it's one I should go look for and shoot. And then feel free to subscribe. I got new episodes coming out about every Friday and Saturday with some bonus episodes that happen in there every now and then. Either an oops episode, I did one of those, or a special location episode where I was at Mansfield Reformatory. I burned like 6 or 7 rolls of film of black and white, both traditional panchromatic black and white and infrared black and white. Some cool photos in there. Feel free to check them out. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode.